Hello everyone, this is Dr. P. Mary Anupama. Today I'll be talking about forest resources. We have a series of lectures which I'll be adding in the YouTube covering all the natural resources in sequence. So we'll be starting with forest resources. So through the series of presentations I'll be covering the following contents. Like I'll start with the forest resources, then water resources, mineral resources, land resources, food resources, and then finally energy resources. So this PPT will be about introduction to natural resources, and first thing is forest resources. Let us see the definition of resource. What is a resource? Resource is a material which can be transformed into more useful and valuable product. Anything which can be converted from a normal material to which is very much useful and which has some end use. Such things we call them as resources. And these resources, they are naturally available to us, and we get very good valuable products. And if they are coming from the nature, then you call them as natural resources. And some examples of natural resources include your water, which is natural resources, land, minerals, forests, wildlife, and even human beings. We are also natural resources. Classification of natural resources. Natural resources are classified into three categories. We have renewable resources, non-renewable resources, and then cyclic resources. Under renewable resources, we have examples like the forest, agriculture land, then we have biogas, wind, solar energy, and so on and so forth. Coming to non-renewable resources, those which are exhaustible. So here we have the mineral wealth, fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, wood, and electricity. Coming to cyclic resources, they never end. They go through a cycle. We call them as cyclic resources, and this includes water. Renewable resources. These resources, they can be renewed and can be exploited. They are always available for use for us. Like the forest wealth, which is always there. Agricultural land, once created, it is always there. You can keep on growing the agricultural crops. Hydroelectric power project, yes, it is there. Then the biogas, it is always there. And even wind. These come under renewable resources. Non-renewable resources. These get depleted when exploited in large scale. You cannot renew them, hence they are called as non-renewable resources. And these include our mineral wealth, then our fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, and even wood. Cyclic resources. Some resources, they can be never lost. They exist in some state or the other, just like our water. They are always there. And they do not have an end use, like they don't get exhausted, they don't get completely utilized anywhere. It is always there. They can be used again and again. Such things we call them as cyclic resources. Example is water. Let us talk about our first natural resource, that is our forest resources. The name forest, it is derived from a Latin word, that is forest, which means outside. Previously forests, they were outside our dwelling, so maybe that's how they got this name forest. And here forest vegetation, it is naturally grown, it is not cultivated intentionally, so it is an uncultivated naturally growing one. That is what is a forest resource. And you have many products which are coming from this forest. Talking about the forest cover that a country should have, you have guidelines which are issued by National Commission on Agriculture. It was initiated long back in the year 1874, where they say that a country should have a minimum of 33% of forest cover. But according to international standards, it is around 40%. A country should have minimum of 40% of their land under forest cover. Statistics of India. So nearly 25% of total land area of India is under forest cover, just 25%. It should be either 33, but international standard it should be 40, and we are just at 25. And very pathetic situation. You know, like 2019 report, it says that it is around 21.67%. In 2017 it was 21.54%, and now it has increased to 21.67%, it seems. It is just that forest cover area that we have, very little forest cover area. And how much forest do we contribute to the world? India contributes just 2.5% of the world's forest cover. That's it. And these are the various forests that we have, forest percentages that we have. Now, types of forests and their percentage of cover in our country. You see that India has around 16 different types of forests, and the most prominent ones and their percentage of cover is listed out here. Dry deciduous forests, they count to 38.7%, tropical moist deciduous forests to 30%, sal forests to 15%, teak forests to 11%, and thorn forests to 5%. Ownership of forests. Forests, they should be under the government control. So we see that around 96% of a forest, they are under the government control, while corporate bodies, they are owning around 2.6%, and private ownership, it is around 1.4% of the total forest cover in India. Uses and over exploitation of forests. Before going to over exploitation, let us see the uses of forests. So forests, they give us many products. It starts with the wood, the firewood, wood for household furnitures and all. We get cane from the forest, we get gum from the forest, resins, dyes, colors. The lac is from the forest, fiber from forest. Many medicinal products are from forests. Then we get honey from the forest, and even food for us and fodder for animals. All these are obtained from our forest resources. Now, why should any country have a forest cover? Do we have any benefits? Yes, definitely we have benefits if we have forest cover. The very first thing is that forests, they attract rains. They prevent soil erosion. If forests are there, they have deeply rooted trees which hold the soil. So soil erosion will be prevented. Landslides will be prevented. There will be a check on the floods. And because of the forests and their deep rooted trees, the moisture content of the soil will be increasing, and when rains fall, they'll allow infiltration of the water, percolation of water into the soil, which adds to the groundwater. And apart from that, when these things are happening, you can avoid drought. Lot of moisture will be there, lot of soil water will be there for utilization for agricultural purposes or growing plants or even for our survival. So you can avoid droughts. And forests, you know that they are the lungs of the earth. They give us lots of oxygen, and they check the pollution, they absorb what is bad and all. They are the natural quenchers, they are the lungs of the earth. They give us all these things. So these are the benefits which we should remember about forests. Some shocking statistics about how we are exploiting the Indian forests. You can see that every year India is losing around 1.5 million hectares, and here 170 million tons of firewood we are getting it from the forest annually. Then we are cutting down the forests not just for firewood but even for the wood for paper and the newspapers and all. They come from the wood of the forest. So here for this around 10 to 15 million hectares they are chopped down, and we get foreign exchange. The forests are just stripped off for financial or economic benefit of the country, for getting some economy and all, you know, in terms of not just medicines but even timber and log. They export these things for financial purposes. So there also we are losing it. And then I think if forests, if they are able to speak, they'll ask us to stop somewhere. There is an intense pressure on these forests to meet our daily needs, to meet the industry needs, to meet our commercial needs, to become these renewable resources, you know, all these renewable requirements and all, they come from the forest. So there is an intense pressure on these things because they are being exploited like anything by man. Consequences of overexploitation. Man is the only animal who is exploiting the nature. Previously it was balanced when he was not aware of these finances and all, when he wasn't having any greed. Everything was balanced. But now it has reached the most imbalanced state where he has lost that discriminative nature to prevent himself from over exploiting the nature. He couldn't do that. This has led to indiscriminative exploitation of nature, which has led to the deforestation, which will lead to desertification of forests. And this is for the greed, to get some profits, instant money for purposes and all, to increase their finances for this commercialization and all. They're doing this, and this has led to the loss of equilibrium, and that's why we see that forests are lost. Animals, many animals are also, they're getting endangered. Here is an example of a mountain where they grew the crops, agricultural crops, in such a way that they could hold the soil, and this prevented floods. In the previous year, when they haven't gone for such cropping, they used to just chop off the trees, go for agricultural purposes randomly, which has led to flash floods in that particular area. But to overcome that, they have come up with strategies which could hold the soil, and this sort of plantation was encouraged, which has prevented soil erosion, and which has retained the moisture holding capacity of the soil, and it has also given them financial benefits. The chief causes for deforestation, the first and primary thing is transformation of this forest land into agricultural purposes. There is an increased demand for the fuel wood also, and apart from that there is overgrazing. More animals, like you have little forest and more animals, as they are grazing, the top herbs and all will be removed by these plants, and the soil becomes loose. This will lead to soil erosion. Apart from that, population explosion, increased demand for goods, that is also leading to deforestation. Increased industrialization, increased mining, so this has led to deforestation. And once mining is done, yes, that becomes a very much unproductive area where you cannot again get back your forest back. Once you have done mining, that's it, that land is gone. Some more causes for deforestation: for construction of roads, ghat roads and all, yes, you have to chop down the trees along the hills. Then you have shifting cultivation. They grow the crops at one place, again they move and grow the crops at the other place. In the northeast states, this has led large amount of land, which is chopped off from the trees. Then for revenue generation, they do it. And what's happening is, it is not just that, but even natural causes are there. Like when you have landslides, heavy rainfall will lead to landslides. And then you have forest fires. Now we have seen in California also, where there are lots of forest fires which is burning down trees. And when you have heavy rains followed by forest fires, definitely it will lead to deforestation, which will lead to flash floods and all. Okay, even that forest fire is leading to deforestation. Apart from that, heavy storms. So all these contribute to deforestation. Effects of deforestation. Deforestation will lead to soil erosion, and increased soil erosion will lead to flash floods. If forests are not there, obviously there will be scarcity with respect to wood and the related products. There will be scarcity of fodder, food, even water scarcity will start. The country's economy will be affected, and obviously rainfall, it will decrease if forest cover is not there. The ecological system will get affected, ecological security of that particular country will be affected, and apart from that, the tribal people who are residents of the forest, their economy, their culture, it will get affected. It will be a threat for their basic survival if deforestation is done. Thank you.